Everyone, I'm out in my medicinal herb garden today. You can see it behind me, and I'm going to be harvesting some hyssop and making oxymel from it. So I will show you what hyssop looks like, talk a little bit about why I would like to make an oxymel from it, and then I'll show you the process on how to do that. Back in my herb garden, and I'm about to harvest hyssop. The Latin name, there's another, I have 3 plants in my medicinal herb garden. The Latin name for hyssop is Hyssopus officinalis. Tends to flower, there's one of my cats, tends to flower around middle to late June in our parts. It's flowered a little bit early, so I'm actually a little bit late getting it this year. It's a fantastic remedy to have around. There's both of them. In cold and flu season. It's an excellent expectorant, so that helps with productive loose coughs. It's really great for fevers as well. It's an antiviral on top of that. And it's also a respiratory antispasmodic, so really great for, as I mentioned, cold and flu, bronchitis. It's even great for more serious conditions like pneumonia, but really good for feverish conditions too. And there's no contraindications except pregnancy, so it's fantastic for kids as well. And today I'm going to be using it. We're going to take the about top 25 to 35% of the plant, the flowering portion, and we're going to be using it to make an oxymel. And once we get back into my kitchen, I'll explain how to make an oxymel and the exact process in making it. So I'm going to harvest some from my herb garden and I will meet you back inside. We're back in my kitchen. I've just harvested a few of the flowering tops of hyssop. And again, you take about the top 25 to 30% of the plant. It's so cool because some of mine flowered pink. And I'm going to be making a 500 milliliter jar of oxymel today. If you're using fresh herbs, you want to fill it almost all the way. Dried herbs about half of the way. So if you aren't growing hyssop, and I highly recommend that you do because bees love it. It's a fantastic pollinator plant, and it's really easy to grow. I can attest to that because my herb garden's been a little neglected this summer because of the drought and the vegetable garden being so large, and it's doing very well. So no problem at all growing it, but if you do need to buy it dry, there's a really great company called Mountain Rose Herbs. They do sell out of the States. There isn't anywhere in Canada that's equivalent, but you can order dried hyssop from them. And again, the reason why we like to use hyssop in the cold and flu season is it's nice, it's really pungent and warming. It's an excellent expectorant. So it's really going to help with that kind of thick, congested mucus that you have that you just can't seem to, get out of your lungs. So what it's going to do, thanks to its really fantastic broad-ranged properties, it's going to help to kind of loosen the mucus as well as expel it in a cough. So for things like bronchitis, pneumonia, colds and flus, it's a really great remedy to have. An oxymel is a blend of apple cider vinegar, and this is the one I'm going to be using today, and honey. So not only are we getting the really great medicinal properties of hyssop, but we're blending the nice pungent and stimulating effects of vinegar with the soothing effects of honey. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, and if you don't have one of these, if you haven't seen one of my videos before, I highly recommend, if you're going to be processing a lot of fresh herbs, get yourself a mezzaluna. It really makes the job so much faster. And when you're processing herbs, working quickly is a benefit so things don't oxidize. So I'm just going to roughly chop up my hyssop. And again, if you're looking for the Latin name, if you want to try to find the plant to grow in your garden, you're looking for Hyssopus officinalis. And I don't think there's a lot of cultivars or different varieties of this plant, so you don't have to worry about mixing it up too much with something else. That's my son in the background having lots of fun with his train set. Right, and once you have it fairly uniform, all you want to do is fill your jar. Like I said, I'm not sure, I'm probably not going to fill it all the way. Now what's so nice about herbal remedies is they can be, especially ones like an oxymel, can be very forgiving. So actually I'm only filling the jar halfway. I probably could have harvested a little more, but I wanted a lot of my plants to go to seed, so I have them in my garden next year. So I probably should have more in here. So I'm not going to fill my jar all the way with honey and vinegar. So what you want to do is do about 1/3 of the jar honey, and try to find yourself some good quality local honey if you can, raw preferably. So it's got all those great medicinal properties. This is going to take a long time if I did this way, so I'm going to switch from my cool little honeybee guy here to a nice big spoon. And oxymels are really very forgiving. You know, if you like your remedies sweeter, you can add more honey than apple cider vinegar. And if you like your remedies a little bit more pungent, then use more apple cider vinegar than honey. There's no tried and true recipe. It's just the blend of the apple cider vinegar and the honey that we're going for. That's about 1/3 full. And you see, there's no real precise measurements. It makes the medicine really nice to make. And I'm just trying it this year with my family to see if they like it. And then I'm topping up with apple cider vinegar. I'm just going to clean the outside of the jar, just because I got slopped honey everywhere. And you want to seal this.
Hey, let's see a rocket ship.
Well, would you like to see a rocket ship?
Hey, rocket ship.
We're making a video, remember?
Rocket ship.
Okay, thanks. You're going to want, if you're, ideally you're going to want to use a plastic lid, because vinegar will corrode the metal in a lid. Now, if you don't have, monkey, thank you. If you don't have a plastic lid, you can just use a piece of wax paper. And just as long as you have a barrier between the metal and the plastic. So you can just put the wax paper on, seal it up. So now when I do shake up my remedy, which I want to do, I want to make sure that the honey and the vinegar penetrate the herbs. I don't have to worry about the acid corroding the metal lid. And of course, as with everything, label, label. So this jar ended up, if you can see, about, I'd say 2/3 of the way full, which is perfect for the amount of hyssop that I harvested. You want to make sure that you label this. Keep it in a cool, dark place. It'll be ready in about 2 to 3 weeks, but because both honey and vinegar are preservatives, this will keep for 9 months to about a year. And you can break it out in the cold and flu season when you've got, like I said, that kind of thick, congested mucus in your lungs, and you need help getting over those symptoms. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I encourage you to make your own Hyssop Oxymel. Until next time.